Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. Wendy Anderson, justbe.me. Now I've had a break from light working, a pause to reset, I think, a pause to reset and rethink turning up, turning up authentically, allowing people to see me just however it is that I'm deciding to show up. Really tricky, really scary. And I've actually realised it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So kind of having a break from these videos has actually taught me to value them, to value this time, to value anyone that the message may get to. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't either. What matters is because I've had the time off from away from doing this, I've not really been expressing, I've just been receiving. And that's okay for a certain amount of time, but then even that starts to get uncomfortable. And I noticed I started to get congested. Congested in the respiratory system, congested in the sacral area, so waterworks, bladders. So bladder is kind of where we hold our emotions. Respiratory system can be where we hold sadness. It's all about the chest, it's all about love. So basically receiving love but not really giving love. And then I actually realised, or a beautiful friend actually highlighted to me, I just turned round and said, "Wendy, why don't you love yourself?" And I didn't know, it'd been so long since I'd actually reconnected with some really deep-seated stuff and feelings. And it is delving as to where these things come from. Anyway, it turns out, he spent a few hours with me, bless him, and he held my hand and he said, "I'm not letting go of your hand until you want me to. I'm right here, I'm not letting go." And it's kind of like the tears came like a fountain then, and it's kind of, it made me realise how alone I'd felt. Even though I've got a beautiful family around me, I've got a beautiful husband, beautiful children, still within that environment I felt so alone, abandoned, all of these emotions. And it highlighted me to the rejection program as to what fears may be stopping us from serving our life purpose, from creating joy in our life, from all the things that, makes your heart sing. And it's purely rejection, because where we're receiving, we also kind of have to express it in some way, shape or form. But then when we're feeling a fear in the expression, because my love may be rejected, because I'm feeling rejected, where is it that I'm rejecting myself? What parts am I rejecting? For me, it was probably everything, the whole thing, but I didn't actually realise it. And then it was kind of like leading me back to all the times in my life where I'd felt that emotion. I mean, I was given up for adoption. So again, it's kind of like rejection energy. So I was holding on to this rejection energy, and because it felt so uncomfortable, but in some ways I couldn't imagine what it would feel like without it, that I struggled to let go. What would it feel like to be supported? What would it feel like to be implicitly and unconditionally kind of like loved? What would it feel like for people to, "Wendy, I've got you back. Wendy, I'm not letting you go. Wendy, I've got you." What would it feel like? But I had to turn up for me first in accepting me exactly the way I am, all layers and all dimensions, just acceptance. So out of all the times that I'd experienced rejection, just after birth, all the times as a kid when I'd done something or said something that displeased another person, or all the times where I displeased my parents. And for all your parents out there, it's kind of like you try the best with the tools you have. There's no grudges held there. But yeah, never feeling good enough, always feeling second best. And it's kind of like, then it brought me to thinking, all right, if I'm holding this rejection energy, and it's a beautiful lesson, the lessons delivered are created by us, for us, in service to us. And every negative has a positive. So yes, it might feel mightily uncomfortable when you've been through it and when you're feeling it and when you're holding on to it. But then it's looking at it from a different perspective. What has it gifted me? I've gone through this experience for a reason. I've given myself this experience for a reason, because when I came in Cannes, I'm putting on the Bear Grylls tick list. What is it that I want to experience when I'm, having this ride on earth? And rejection for me was one of the things that I kind of like put in my tick box. It's fine, it's great. I'll own it, I can cope with it. I know deep down at some point I can cope with it. And in that moment, when choosing it, I knew it was a being of love, because this was before I came into human form, and being of love, I'm made from that energy, the same frequency. I can heal anything that I experience, kind of in that low density, beautiful playground of a planet down there. So yeah, put my hand up, said I'll do it, I'll experience that. So what did rejection, what has it gifted me? Acceptance. So there's a duality to everything, and the duality of rejection is acceptance. Where is it that I can accept myself? And I realised that I was judging myself for how I was feeling. So it meant that I just couldn't be with however it is I needed to just be. Hence, kind of like even the name of this channel, Just Be, .me. And it is literally, how am I turning up in the world? And do you know what? It may be a day where you don't want to turn up, you don't want to show up. But that's okay, just show up anyway. Just, get out of bed, put the kettle on anyway. Just show up. However you are showing up is absolutely beautiful and absolutely dandy and absolutely fine. And you've got to think as well at the moment, we are being asked to look at all the traumas, all the experiences which some would look at as negative. We're being asked to look. So kind of like getting it out of the box and dragging it up, it's going to be tricky. We are going to turn up in a prickly manner sometimes, and now I'm learning that that's okay, that I accept myself however it is that I'm turning up. But just as long as I turn up, just as long as I keep putting one foot in front of another, just as long as I have no fear of death or dying or leaving this plane, because I know there's some great stuff coming up after this as well, but it's just to be here for this right now. It's just turning up right now. And also it's kind of, how can I turn up for myself? I would turn up for myself ferociously for another person. Up a mountain in flip-flops, I'd go there and rescue somebody. Would I do that for myself? Not before, but I've had a little review, and you know what? I'm working on it. It's holding the understanding that my bodysuit is perfection, designed in perfection. My soul is perfection. And it may be really difficult for some people not to see the perfection when they're seeing so many flaws. We look at diamonds, and if the light just hits it, just in that one moment, just the right way, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The chinks of light that come off it, the sparkle that come off it, So do we actually have to be perfect? It can still be beautiful without perfection. But in some ways, on some level, there is a perfection. It's very confusing, isn't it? But you get what I'm saying. So yeah, it's been an interesting time. So rejection. So then I was kind of like looking at what else in my life am I rejecting? I know at this point as well, my beautiful, beautiful husband, who absolutely gets me, don't even have to finish sentences, he knows how I'm feeling before I'm feeling, which is really spooky sometimes. But we were getting really kind of like fractious with one another. It's kind of like we were annoying each other, or just feeling, just really prickly with one another. And maybe it's because we were seeing each other's flaws, and maybe it's because we were rejecting each other. We were rejecting each other's love, and that's why it felt kind of like comfortable. And it's kind of like, do you know what? I'm a creative being. It's up to me when I flick the switch, when I've had enough of being in one way. It's up to me kind of like when I choose to hold an experience of another way. And I thought, right, today I'm going to flick the switch. I'm going to start accepting. I'm going to start accepting myself, however it is I'm showing up, however it is that I'm turning up, whatever my needs are, whatever I want. It's okay to want, it's okay to need. And I was always told as well, don't always get what you want, or you can't always have what you want. Rubbish. I'm not holding that anymore, by the way, that programme. Don't want it anymore, choosing not. So do you know what? If there was, and at this point I was feeling really needy, and I've always kind of like been, I've got this, I'm on my own, don't need anyone, And in this moment I was feeling, I do need to be loved, I do need a great big hug, I do need somebody to say I've got you. Which was so different from, it's all right, Wendy, you've got this, you don't need anyone else. So different. And in that, me and my husband had some really truthful and honest conversations about what we both wanted and what we didn't want, and it seemed to clear the air. So if you're having kind of like a fractious relationship, and you think as well, we're all evolving, we're evolving ourselves, we're healing within as without. So relationships are going to change as well, because sometimes magnetism of why two people are together is purely to love each other whole and to heal something that is missing in either party. So whatever you've got missing in yourself, normally your partner will show up with it. So if you need to dominate yourself a little bit and get yourself going, you'll find your partner might kind of like be doing that. If you are overly kind of wanting to nurture your partner, then it might mean that you might need the nurturing. So it's kind of like, have a look at the dynamics in your relationships, because we mirror what we project. So it's just have a look around that. Have a look if you've been through rejection programs, if you've had a parent that has left, it's another rejection program. That parent as well is just a theatre in your show. Sometimes we feel anger towards a parent that may have abandoned us. They are merely a theatre because you put your hand up and said, I want to experience that program. And there will be a learning in that for that parent as well. That parent that's abandoned may have had a parent abandon them. So it's kind of like, sometimes it can come down in the bloodline from ancestors. When I've done past life histories and things like that, it's really, really fascinating. Kind of like it can start off kind of 5 generations ago and it comes down the bloodline. But then that first ancestor who held that experience of being rejected has held it for you purely in this time of ascension, to have a look at it, review it. How do I want to proceed in my life? As a parent now, if you're going through a parent rejection, am I rejecting my own children? Am I rejecting my partner? Am I rejecting, and this is the most important thing, where is it that am I rejecting my good? From good things coming to me, from good things manifesting, because again, it kind of like can sometimes affect self-worth, the rejection program. I'm rejecting everything that's good because, well, if I was rejected right early on as a baby and, you know, or as a child, and it's kind of like, you know, a child should be unconditionally loved, then what is it about me that deserves love? I don't deserve love. And there's this program underneath. So if you're not feeling like you're deserving love, you can do all the chi regenerating practices, and it does help. But it's kind of like, why do I need these practices in the first place? And it's simply because I'm not receiving my good, because I'm rejecting energy, I'm rejecting love, I'm rejecting everything that's good for me. And you will find that you don't need to do the regenerating chi exercises and self-love rituals and things like that, self-love disciplines as much when you come across this program and desire and flick the switch and decide to instead of reject to accept. You know, all these programs are absolutely beautiful. Abuse, you know, the opposite is to celebrate. So abuse survivors, utmost respect for choosing that program. It's a tricky one. But one way of flicking the switch is to celebrate self. And where we can celebrate self, we can celebrate others. When we accept ourselves, we can accept others. And when you think about it, to every universal question or equation, love is always the answer, always, always. And when you think about all these programs that we have chosen, that we have been co-creators of them, even with our ancestors, you know, the plans that we have in our life cycles are absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So thank you to our ancestors as well for beginning the cycles and experiencing the experiences that they held as well. Beautiful. In order for us to hold it on the bloodline, hold it in the DNA, in order to be aware of it now and choose whether we want to keep it or have a different experience, hold a different experience. They experience that ancestors behind us, as you know, it's been in their DNA to do the same thing. All of a sudden we are coming to this point, which is Ascension. Do the opposite of what you've always done. That is so courageous, so courageous. But all these programs lead you back to love when you think about it. So the acceptance, it's love. Rejection is lack of. The abuse programs, to celebrate oneself again, it's always back to love. So it's kind of like, to simplify it down, it's kind of like, right, what am I doing in this now moment? Is it a path of fear or is it a path of love? So making this video, it's not really how many people see it. It's just me expressing, and that's it. That's just a simple version of it. It's for me, and it's for another person or any individual that it resonates with, and that's just the bonus out of it. But if you change one person, you change the world. So you only have to change yourself, nobody else. That's it. So this is me starting here with this, with me, to change this. And there's nothing that needs changing. Like I said, I'm already perfect, but it's just going through experiences. And sometimes the inclusions in a diamond are the things that catches the light, and these are our traumas. These are our really dank experiences. When they catch the light, it shows us the gifts within us. So even me and my rejection program, and you as well, all you beautiful loved ones out there that have experienced rejection, in order to create acceptance. And if you think what change that brings to the world, to one individual, to realise rejection, I can create acceptance. You know, can I accept any other individual now in their expression? Can I accept me in whatever way I'm choosing to turn up or express myself? Can I accept another person in their chosen expression, no matter what that is? And it may or may not resonate, but can I still accept it? So this is the whole purpose of the rejection program, is literally to come back to unconditional love. Can I love that other person for however it is that they are showing up? Prickly, gentle, kind, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter how they're showing up. Because sometimes how we show up is learned from social constructs or parents or education, and we are breaking all those programs down in order to create a new. So the new is authentic and genuine expression, and every single expression is love, because that's exactly what you're made from. So how can it not be loved? Leave these thoughts with you. So all you beautiful ones out there that have listened to this video, I love you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. To all you lovelies out there that haven't listened to this video, I also love you so much as well. Go and create joy and show up authentically however it is you want to show up. All right, guys, love you all. Take care. Bye.